Something involving a death at a school that will not be covered by mainstream media. Sure, it has a little article on People, but this happened on June 5th, and it's probably the first time that you heard about it. I was just perusing through a couple of news websites, and then I've seen a couple of the different words that were in a couple of headlines, and did a little digging of my own, and kind of theorized exactly how this was going to play out, and lo and behold, it's exactly how it played out. But unfortunately, yes, it involves the death of an underage man at the hands of a couple of very motivated young individuals. Okay, so let's get into the facts of the case first and foremost. Teen beaten to death outside. Beaten to death with hands and fists. So fucking visceral murder. Jesus. Death outside school established by LeBron James Foundation. Absolute nightmare. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. So a teenager was beaten to death last week. Now you're just getting to it? Amazing. Outside an Ohio school that was created by LeBron James Foundation. And again, I don't like LeBron James. We're going to put that on full blast here in a moment anyways. But no, the fact remains that his school, well, it's not quite his school, and it's not like a really fully functional school. He's still doing a good thing for the community. It's setting up 3rd and 4th graders. It's a very small amount of people that he's actually directly helping, but he is doing something good for the community. It doesn't quite offset the rest of his fucking nonsense, but it's something good that he's doing for the people of Akron, which is better than what a lot of other people can say as well. Still doesn't make him the greatest basketball player of all time. I wouldn't even put him in my top 5, but even still, it's a good thing that he's doing. It's just his response to this particular situation. I don't know what to say about it, because he hasn't said fuck all about it. Okay, on June 2nd, around 10:46 p.m. local time, Ethan Lemming died after a fight. A fight, you say? Okay, we'll get into some specifics here, and we'll see how proper the characterization of it just being a simple fight pans out. Okay, in a fight in a parking lot at the I Promise School in Akron, police said in a press conference earlier this week. It took them until this week, huh? According to authorities, Lemming, 17, and his friends were shooting people with a toy water gun from a car. I'm sure, okay, nobody would be dumb enough to just be driving around, okay, and I live in a pretty fucking hillbilly neighborhood, okay, and even just a redneck community, okay. You don't just drive around. You might drive around and catcall a cute girl, okay, or you might just yell at people to get a job or wave if you're in a fucking parade or something like that. But you don't run around, okay? You don't drive around shooting people with what you could interpret as a gun, okay? So they probably knew each other. So let's just throw that out there to begin with. We don't have any details on this because the police are keeping this pretty close to the chest, and details are going to be pretty few and far between because that's the kid who got beat to death. No additional context needed, I suppose. But yes, shooting a group of people with a toy water gun from a car. And as you can see here, yes, it's very terrible. I would say a water gun of mass destruction. Somebody please needs to start banning these assault water weapons. But yes, a group of individuals, just a simple group of individuals, approached them and got physical. So how does that happen? Okay, he's driving around with friends, and then a group of individuals, we'll get to them, approached the car and then drug him out? Like, what are we talking here? Again, more details would be helpful. After the officers were dispatched to the scene, police said they found Lemming unresponsive within the parking lot. Aid was provided to the high schooler to no avail. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Fuck. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office said Lemming died of blunt force head trauma, so this dude got stomped. Jeez. And the manner of death was ruled a homicide. All right then. Yeah, and that was the weapon of mass destruction that he had as well. Speaking with Fox News, Lemming's father, Bill Lemming, called the situation an absolute nightmare. Yeah, your son, who was just having a good time, got stomped out. He had a very bright future. He was well loved, and his friends have been so wonderfully supportive to his little brother. Well, that's good to hear. And again, I don't know if they get into this, but this kid apparently had like a pretty promising baseball career. So yeah, that's gone. He was with a really good group of guys, and they were out to try to have fun, trying to be teenagers, and they ran into some people I wish they had never met in their lives. Yeah, okay, I didn't read this part. I just was going to pick this particular article because it just had the most words. But imagine that. Imagine my shock, okay? Probably knew the people that he was interacting with until a couple of motivated individuals seen perhaps maybe an easy target to pick. We'll get to what they categorize as LeBron James's reaction. Spoilers, it didn't actually come from LeBron James, and yeah, he also hasn't made a single fucking peep about this personally, but still, we'll get to that, okay? The Akron Police Department made 3 arrests in connection with the death of Lemming on Saturday, the previous Saturday. Deshawn Stafford, 20. Oh, okay, and this was just outside of a school, so what was he, in the 8th grade or something? Tyler Stafford, 19, and Donovan Jones, 21, have all been charged with murder and felonious assault. The outlet said Jones is also charged with disrupting public service as well. So what, after the aid was called for and being rendered, did he try to hassle the EMTs? Is that what we're led to believe? But again, we don't know anything about this situation. Ethan's senseless and tragic death has touched every person in our community. These arrests would not have been possible without the dedication of our Akron Police Department and their collaboration with the U.S. Marshals, a Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force. Okay, Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan said in a statement, okay, they have worked around the clock on this case, and I thank them for their tireless effort. My thoughts and prayers remain with the entire Lemming family at this time. Added Police Chief Stephen Milet in his own statement, violence in this country must stop. Just make it more specific, but you don't want to blame the people who actually committed it, because if they fit your narrative, then you might be a little bit more open and honest with your condemnation of their actions, because those are the guys that are there. As you can see, maybe there's a specific reason, because I don't think the demographics of the victims and the assailants work out too well for you, okay? Especially outside of LeBron James's little gimmick that he has there. But here's a statement from the LeBron James Family Foundation. So a spokesperson for the Family Foundation, that foundation that funds the I Pledge, I Believe school, whatever the fuck it is, okay? Our community is everything to us. We were devastated to learn of the overnight incident that saw life lost near our school. We are grieving with our community over another senseless act of violence. Our I Promise Schools campus is safe and secure as we continue to do everything we can to support our students, families, and the entire Akron community. Now, do you hold the school accountable for this stuff? Of course not. But for them to just, cap off that statement with our campus is safe and secure, I think the fact that there was a murder that was committed there, which you don't make mention to that or anything, it was just a life lost. But knowing LeBron James and his over-eagerness to engage in activism, and this happened in your backyard, on your property, okay? And you say nothing about it, because we got LeBron James's fucking obnoxious Twitter feed that's up there. Okay, so this happened. What was it again? June 2nd? Let's go ahead and troll through King James's Twitter feed and see if we find anything from June 2nd in on or around the area. Okay, giving big ups to Jawad Williams, posting some sort of, I don't know, fucking Netflix gimmick. Okay, that was on June 1st. Didn't post anything on June 2nd. Oh, we got one on June 3rd. Our condolences go out to the family who lost a loved one. My heavens above, watch over you during this tragedy. Pray for our community. And then, no mention of the kid who got killed or anything like that. Just simply retweeting the second part of that. Oh, okay. And then just move on to the next stuff. We need to come together, do whatever we can on June 5th. For BG Interrupted, whatever the fuck that is. Oh, WNBA superstars. Who gives a shit? And then goes on to make no mention about the arrests or anything like that at all. Just giving a couple of live tweets to the NBA Finals games. And just moving on with his life. He is a fucking pile of shit. But remember, guys, no, LeBron James, he's all about stopping violence. He wants to make the community of Akron, Ohio better. But of course, he didn't want to shout out this specific incident, even though he has intimate relationships with it. Nah, I don't want to be talking about that. That might bust a narrative or two, you fucking scummy individual. I'd like more information on this. specific crime that happened, because there's a lot of loose ends that are there that don't really add up altogether. Okay, the fact that, yeah, he was in a car, okay, ended up getting out and stomped out. Okay, it took additional people to come in to help with the arrest. Okay, the U.S. Marshals Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force. So if it got kicked up to those people, okay, Stafford brothers, perhaps, or two Staffords, and Jones may or may not have been on their radar beforehand, or did they flee from the scene? And what's with that other charge of disrupting public service? I'd like to know more about that as well. But no, man, this will just get swept under the rug because the victim looks like this and doesn't look anything like that. Yeah, just flip reverse that stuff. LeBron James wouldn't stop talking about it. But fact of the matter is, Ethan Lemming doesn't quite work out too well for the narrative for him. Unfucking believable. So I hope his family finds peace, and send those three fucking degenerates to the electric chair. Fucking fry them. Who cares? With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.